Sunday, and we see West Ham versus Chelsea. Sunday, 4:30 game. Take a look at the betting that we currently have at Matchbook.com. Bit of movement in the market there, live on your screen, which is always good to see. West Ham 4.1, Chelsea even money here, 2.0 on the 90-minute market. The draw is 3.75. Both teams to score, yes, is favoured in that market at around 1.84. The Asian handicap line sees West Ham get a half a goal head start at 1.96, and the total for this is 2.5. So, Adrian, back to you on this one. Look, Chelsea's transfer moves, even in the last week, has been incredible. People arguing, are they breaking financial fair play? There's been some brilliant explainers of what they're trying to do with the 8-year contracts from various, including TalkSport, your own TalkSport, and Simon Jordan. So, on Chelsea's transfers moves, just on the pitch, those couple of midfielders they've signed are as good, nearly as good as there is in the Premier League already.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be stronger, aren't they? Caicedo is a wonderful player with potential to get even better. Is he worth that money right now? Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. He's going to improve that team, and if they can afford it, if they're not breaking the rules, then good luck to them. Lavia is a very, very good player as well. So yeah, when you put those two in, and you've got Conor Gallagher's there, he's going to find it hard to get a game now, isn't he? But you've got Enzo Fernandez, who was the British record transfer. Fernandez, Caicedo, that's strong. That is very, very strong. I'm sure that Caicedo will go straight into the team. I don't see them waiting. Might as well just stick him straight in there. Of course, West Ham have got a couple of good signings themselves, a couple of midfielders in Alvarez and Ward-Prowse. So it'd be interesting, won't it? And that's what makes this is quite a hard game to call, because you've got kind of two new teams. West Ham adapting without Declan Rice. How's that going to work? Paquetá is having his head turned, I think, by Manchester City. That could be a problem for them. And you got very, very new Chelsea, who were probably better than I thought, actually, against Liverpool. It was a bit chaotic, and it wasn't entirely convincing in the first half, but they grew into it. And when all's said and done, even though you thought they looked a bit open at times, Liverpool only had one shot on target. So I think there's a lot that Chelsea fans can feel positive about. Jackson got into some good positions to score. So yeah, looking at this game, I just feel that there's going to be a buzz about Chelsea ahead of this game. I do think they've got enough quality to undo West Ham, who are bound to be pretty pragmatic, as David Moyes almost always is at home to the big teams. And it's not a policy that really works for them. I mean, they took Manchester United scout at London Stadium last year, but that was it. That was the only big win against a top side that they produced in front of their own fans. So it's not something they've done a lot of in recent times. I can see Chelsea grinding out a win here. I can. I'm going to go with Chelsea and under 4.5, which feels quite a nice price at 2.34. West Ham still look short. I know they've brought in a couple of bodies, but you looked at the bench last weekend, still Antonio up front, still look, there's one or two. There's not a lot to change things. If things aren't working for them from the outset, not a lot on the bench at the moment for them to be able to change the course of a game. So, yeah, for me, I can see Chelsea getting in front and just holding it. That's how I see the game going. Chelsea and under 4.5.
Okay, yeah. So Chelsea to win 2.0 currently, or you can boost that up to Adrian's selection, 2.34 on Matchbook, Chelsea and under 4.5 goals. Mark, where are you looking for this one? I posed the sort of same question to you on that Chelsea midfield. It's going to be great throughout the season going forward, but maybe this weekend it'll be very new and there may be opportunities for West Ham to score at the other end.
Yeah, I think so. I'm still not ready to trust Chelsea as Adrian is. They were widely praised last week for the performance against Liverpool, and rightfully so. But I think if Salah's goal is onside, it could quite easily have got out of hand and got quite ugly for Chelsea, because there was a noticeable class apart between the two teams in the opening half hour. And Adrian's completely right. They grew into the game from then on, basically. And Pochettino is a top coach. We saw him tinker with the team and the tactics throughout that match on Sunday. We saw Ben Chilwell be extremely aggressive down the left-hand side. Fernandez showed what he's capable of after that big money move. He was kind of being derided last season. Well, he's actually a quality player. He showed it. Conor Gallagher played very well too. So, chucking Caicedo, and suddenly they will start to look more like a team. But I think we'll see the best of Chelsea probably in the autumn, really. So at the minute, I'm still sort of happy to kind of not necessarily oppose them, but certainly sort of keep them just keep them to the side and look elsewhere for a best bet, really. So I came up with both teams to score in this game. It's 1.84 now. I put it in at 179, which is a nice little kind of increase, really. West Ham fans were very frustrated last weekend at Bournemouth. They could and should have really won that game. Sort of old failings coming to fault again, really. The away record has been pretty wretched for quite a long time in the Premier League, and a big reason for that is Moyes' pragmatism and his defensive approach and his in-game management, really. And he was criticised last week because after scoring, West Ham allowed Bournemouth back into the game before sort of showing a late flurry after the equaliser. And they invited all that pressure on. Bournemouth only had 4 shots between the first and 51st minute when West Ham scored, and then Bournemouth had 9 shots between the 52nd and 82nd minute when they equalised. And that's been a very familiar theme for West Ham under Moyes. But this will be, I think, a different sort of approach from West Ham. You would imagine a home game against Chelsea should stir the senses a little bit, the big rivalry between the two clubs. And I think when I looked at the 11 last week and potentially the squad, there still is plenty of quality in that West Ham team. There's still no standout reliable goal scorer, but there are inventive players, influential players, set-piece threats as well. So perhaps a little bit soft in the middle now after Declan Rice leaving. So I think that all lends itself to being a quite decent game, really. So as I say, I think Chelsea will improve week on week, but if you do go back to last year's disastrous campaign, they only kept 4 clean sheets on the road all season. Defensively, I'm not yet willing to trust them. I think West Ham's inferiority complex against bigger clubs would be a concern there. Just 2 home wins against the top 12 last season. But both of last year's meetings saw both teams score. 3 of the last 4 between the 2 teams at the London Stadium, I think, have seen both teams score as well. So I'm happy to have a crack at another, really, because the price is nice, 184. You don't often get those kind of prices between 2 teams with more than enough sort of ability in the final third to get on the score sheet in the Premier League. So happy to have a go, have a bit of a nibble at that price.
Okay, yes. Adrian's selection, Chelsea and under 4.5 goals is 2.34. Both teams have scored a safer option at 1.84. Both of these bets could come in. Again, I'm going to lean with Mark and podcast bets. Both teams to score 184, but I do have my eye on Adrian's selection in the Arsenal game. So that's both teams to score 1.84 currently, and a couple of comments supporting your Chelsea and under 4.5 goal bet. Adrian, you'll be glad to see. So it's maybe not from the host himself, but there are a few YouTube commenters that are flying the Adrian Clarke flag, of course, after week 1. So
don't get swayed though, Daniel. Don't get swayed. Be your own man.
Lingers here as always. I have my own bets here to look after as well as Matchbook. So we will go to Monday Night Football, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Monday Night Football, which will be